Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about mob spawn locations, or rotations, whatever you want to call it. So, I'm going to give you the too long didn't read first. This is a map that just shows you where all of the different mobs spawn, as well as where the materia grades E and F nodes are located. I'm going to be doing things a little bit different in the video, but it is going to amount to about the same thing. Now note that this doesn't have the dark cube stack listed, so I'm going to mark that right here. You can find this map, as well as one for the Necropolis Desert, on the Maiden Nation Discord. Now for the sake of simplicity, we're going to be doing this where south is the UNDC West point, where we normally spawn in, and north will be the opposite UNDC point. So we'll be looking at the map like this. We're also going to go clockwise around the map. So this is probably the least well-known area. This is actually just off the UNDC bridge and to the left. It's a little island. There's a bunch of these little bomber enemies around here. It also has a dock. This seems to be the one that I see people ask about the most when they need bomber legs. So here you have it. Moving directly north from there, you'll run into the F-grade materia. And from there you're going to run into where the nightmares and swarm generally spawn. You recognize it with all the basketball courts and these skyscrapers lined up here, along with the cemetery that you spawn at if you die. As a reference on the map, we've gone from the bridge to this island here on the left where the bombers are, and we've moved up. So you can say that from about the F materia point all the way up and around to here where we meet back at the other bridge is where you're going to find nightmare enemies generally. Just keep in mind, from the F point to the bridge and around the cemetery here is where you're going to find nightmare enemies. Going farther east from there and towards the mech at the abandoned UNDC camp is where you're going to find a bunch of foul enemies. They generally wrap all the way around and back towards the E-class materia. At this point, we're completely west from where we started initially. We're actually standing right here. So to go over that again, you have bombers on the island over here. And then you move up to find nightmares in this corner of the city. To move over to the opposite end, where you're generally going to find foul. Next are the remains, which you're just going to find a little south of where we were fighting the foul. You'll find them in the residential district here, near the point where we started. Last but not least, the easiest one to find, because the launcher takes you directly to them, is the Filth. You'll find these guys smack in the middle of the city. Now, as you go around the city, you're going to see a mixture of different enemies. So you might see a nightmare walking around the Filth area, and that's okay. They do have miscellaneously spawning enemies that wander the streets. They can be nightmare, foul, bombers, swarm, or even remains. I've never personally noticed a wandering Filth, so I'll say that you won't find them roaming the streets freely, but everything else, most definitely. If you want to find the dark cube stack, just head towards the church. The story will take you there naturally, but it's just down the street and guarded by two nightmares. Last thing to note, if you're trying to farm a specific mob, and you hate having to stand there and wait for the group to respawn, get yourself some feral essences. You can buy these from any general vendor. They're 2,500 gold a piece, but it cuts the respawn time of mobs and materia in half. And that's it for this video, guys. This was just a quick tour of Freedom City if you're having trouble finding specific mobs when you need to farm specific parts for upgrading your skills. I hope this was helpful, and in the next video, we're going to be taking a look at the Necropolis Desert. And I'll see you then.